In this video, I'm going to cover some of the basics of getting started with MetaDomainer and some things, important things that you need to know before jumping in and starting to make your domain pages. So if you'll notice from this install, I'm not set up to be SSL on this domain. So I don't have forced SSL. I have an HTTP version, not an HTTPS version. And there's a reason for that. And that is that you're going to be adding dozens, if not hundreds of domain names to this. And you can't link from a non-SSL page to an SSL page. So if you want to use domain forwarding and masking, and if you wanted to use the PHP version of our templates, you're going to run into issues with your domain names pointing back to an SSL install. So the best thing to do is keep them all on either SSL or non-SSL. If you want to keep them all SSL, that means you have to get certificates for every domain that you add, which most people don't want to do. But depending on your web host, it could be as simple as a couple of clicks, but in most cases it's going to be a hassle to purchase them and to renew them and so forth. So due to the nature of this business where you may not own a domain for a long time, or you're just going to put up a basic ad, you're not using contact forms or shopping or things like that, you don't really need the SSL. So I would recommend that you just keep everything non-SSL when you get going here, because it just makes it easier and prevents conflicts. So essentially, ignore any forced SSL from your master install, and that'll solve your problems using it with hundreds of different domain names that you may add in the future. We do cover this. We have documentation. We have a documentation page here, links off to different videos and different things that we'll be creating to help our members. This is actually an ongoing Google Doc we constantly edit, and you can see that we talk about all this stuff on this documentation. So it's really important that you read through this, and this will explain a lot of what I'm going to show you as well. But that just is the best way to get started to understand what we're doing here is to read all this thing here. So going back to that, once again, just try to ignore forced SSL on your site, and it makes it easier. The next thing is that you don't really want to have this blog indexed, or in most cases you're not going to want to have it be indexed in Google. So one quick way to get around that is to go into settings and reading and click on discourage search engines from indexing this site. The next thing is, if you're not familiar with Robots.txt files, depending on what SEO tools you may use, you might be familiar with it, but we do recommend that you create a Robots.txt file, and what that will do is help block the actual path to, let me type this in. So this is Robots.txt. You can see that I'm disallowing the domains folder here, okay? So you want to disallow the domains subdirectory so that your pages that you're creating are not getting indexed on both your master install and on the domain that you just purchased. So we do cover that as well. As you can see right here, Robots.txt important. So it's just one step that you need to do so that your domain pages will not get indexed along with your primary domain. So those are two important things when you get rolling here. So going back here, we do have a dashboard where we're going to add more information, tutorials, but once again, everything will be in this documentation page here and in here, and of course videos and so forth. So that's it, just quick things you need to know. Keep your site non-SSL, set up a Robots.txt file, and that's it for this video.